Real quick before we jump into this video, I want to let you guys know that we have the Work For It beef jerky / bacon jerky back in stock. We've got the Rhino Ranch Signature Series bacon, which is a nice barbecue flavored bacon, and then we've got the Blood, Sweat, and Tears beef jerky, a nice spicy flavor, but not too spicy that you can't actually eat it and enjoy it. Go get them before they sell out. Last time we announced that we sold out in one day. We're also doing a special right now, buy 5 bags, get $1.50 off each bag, so get them before they sell out because they went quick last time. Let's roll this video. What's up and good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another video. We've got something a little bit different that we're going to be showing on the channel today. Instead of showing like something new, big, and flashy going right from the beginning, we're gonna show you guys, what do we call it, a lesson learned? Maybe? Correct. All right, lesson learned on what not to do and how we're gonna fix it. Scott, nice to meet you, Scott. So Scott brought his, what is this, 2016 Chevy 2500 HD here. And as you guys can see, it is on a lift kit. We're gonna get into that in a second here. Scott originally had this truck built elsewhere, which again, we don't need to divulge that if you don't want to. I'm sure you paid good money for what you had done here. What was this supposed to be? Let's start there. What'd you order?
6-inch lift.
Okay. What is it, Cognito?
No, it is a CST, but CST? It was a 3-6 combo after I found out.
Okay, so a 3 to 6 inch lift, which we've always advised, if you guys have watched the channel, you never want to max something out. So if you want a 10-inch lift, order a 12 and set it a little bit lower. Your ride's gonna be better. You're not gonna be totally maxed out. And well, we've got a perfect example, I believe here. I haven't even looked up underneath here yet of totally maxed out, right?
Maxed out. Torsion keys torqued as far as they can be torqued.
Let's just take a little peek up underneath here. So Scott's in construction, right? Not a
yes, sir.
Not a mechanic, as myself, also not a mechanic. So we got Zach.
I know nothing about vehicles.
All right. So let's take a little peek up under here, and well, I mean, we can already see from your CV boots there,
completely torn and ripped.
Yeah, they do not like those angles. I mean, she is maxed as maxed. Look at that CV angle right there. Look at the boot. The boot is not happy. Once we get this thing lifted up in the air, we'll show you guys a little bit more again. I have not seen the truck. This is my first time ever seeing it. First time meeting Scott here. Our buddy Nick, American Duramax, has sent Scott in the right direction.
Correct. To
get this done properly. Look at all that CV axle grease that has just spit out everywhere, because well, that boot's not doing you a whole lot of good anymore. I don't want to say another shop took you to the ringer, because I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but a little inexperience, I think so too. On their end here of what not to do. And that's the problem with a lot of kits. You got to do your research on kits, and I know this is not Scott's fault. This is like, you think you're buying something and it's not quite what you think nowadays. Right. Like a true 6-inch could actually be stretched to like an 8. What do we got? We got some stuff in the rear here?
Yeah, well, just I picked up the lift from Nick.
Okay.
It's the 6 to 8. That's a CST with Cognito, no, Kryptonite.
Oh, so we're gonna do full Kryptonite steering, as I believe, yes, right?
That's correct.
So we're gonna upgrade everything. We're gonna get you on a proper 6-inch kit. We're not gonna crank it up to 9, don't worry. This thing's gonna be dialed in, so we got a bunch of parts here that we're gonna open up. Well, obviously there's no point in opening it right now. Once Zach gets here, we'll tear into all this stuff, but we're gonna get you right. You're gonna fall back in love with this truck. Oh yeah. It's not gonna be scary to drive home. All right, guys, hold on. We got us an influencer in the wild here. Look at Sergio, big Instagram guy here.
Yeah, Instagram.
We got here 2022 F250, getting the full strobe package over here from iep-usa.com. Look at that, looking good, looking good. Well, Zach has arrived at the shop here and he's got some lofty goals tonight. One of which being the 4-wheel drive swapped 6.0 is gonna run and drive because he's driving this home tonight. It's gonna have no sway bar, no front drive shaft. If you guys recall the last video. So what issues have we figured out since then that we're gonna fix?
Well, it's a solid axle swap 2-wheel drive right now. Brake lines work. All of the factory flare nuts are the same thread pitch, same size, front and rear, which is cool.
Nice.
That all worked. I had to get banjo bolts for these calipers for this here, because the ones off the 2-wheel drive were a different thread pitch. It seems to all be working. Measurement wise, these radius arms, I had an 06 in the other day, are a 1/4 inch longer.
So it shouldn't be that big.
Measuring them with the bolts in it, it's kind of hard. So,
right.
And cams are in it, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put it together, set the toe, and see what it does. Yeah, brakes are bled. I gotta fish in 1 bolt for the track bar bracket.
Gotcha.
And tighten bolts.
Basically, the plan is get this thing off the rack so Zach can use the rack to fix the other nightmare that is here. Transfer case, they are apparently sending the correct one. So if you remember, they sent an automatic one when they're supposed to send a manual transfer case. So the new one's coming, then they'll swap it out, then it'll be 4-wheel drive.
That Monday, Sean reached out. He's like, hey, this, that. She's like, well, can you send me a picture? He's like, absolutely. Send a picture. He's like, oh, yep. She's like, that's, you know, on us, sorry. The other one's on the way. They comp shipping for, you know, this one to come back and the empty box to come back. So they totally took care of it because his paperwork says manual shipped.
If you need help with transfer cases, you know, me and you, 450 transfer cases.
That one weighs
no problem.
nowhere near the 450 transfer case.
Yeah, if you guys watched when we did Paparano's 450 and me and Zach almost died pulling that transfer case out and trying to put it back in, those are no fun to move around. Let's see, going around the shop here, we've got a golf cart that has been sitting here, and well, I made a fatal mistake with this thing, which is really in story of Ryan's life. I need a battery sponsor. If anybody out there, you know, a little battery sponsor. We brought this thing from the ranch, and well, you guys saw the video when me and Chris decided we were gonna take it to In-N-Out. After it had been lifted, we drove it around a lot, drained some of the batteries down, ended up going to In-N-Out through the, you know, to go pick up some food, and then it died on our way back. And then we found just enough juice in it to get it home. Well, then it sat here for a while, and unfortunately I didn't have the charger here. The charger was at the ranch. Totally forgot to bring it down for like weeks. And well, the batteries are well below where they should be. Tried to hook it up to the charger, and well, the charger doesn't even kick on because as far as I would make sense in my brain that these things work is you plug it in, it reads the voltage, does some shit, kicks on, doesn't work. So then we tried to trick it, and we basically linked 3 batteries together to make a 24-volt battery because this is a 48-volt cart, and you can't just really independently charge that with another charger. So then we brought in a 24-volt charger and made some sweet cables. Hold on, Sergio made these for me right here with the little knockoff Anderson connector, and you know, we linked 3 together today. Tried that, didn't end up working. So we've come to the conclusion, golf cart batteries are dead. That's an expensive boo-boo.
We could use 2 12-volt batteries. Plug the charger in, and on those batteries, give it 24 volts, see if it'll kick the charger on.
Where were you the last 3 days we've been trying this?
You didn't call me.
So he's gonna try and slide this in the frame and drop it down a
Pretty much
hole.
usually it's the nut that has this, it's like a wing nut, I guess. Not a wing nut, but...
I got the flashlight, Dad. Zach doesn't have the proper amount of squint going on right now. This is not safe. This whole thing's gonna fall off the rack unless you squint a little bit more, Zach.
No, I can't see.
Oh, all right, fair. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, look, it even works.
Great work, buddy. All right. Zach's getting all the Newton meters here. Oh, not enough Newton meters.
How many is that? I can't see.
How
many did we go with?
Come on, Snap-on. We don't got a double-sided. Giving the steering components a nice coat of some clear coat there. Oh, yeah. Extra slick. How much you charge for your paint job, Zach?
Less than some, more than most.
All right. This problem build is problem after problem. Zach, what happened now?
You know, the shit I do for my friends.
So Zach brought me something to keep me entertained. His super sweet. In case you guys want to guess what our next toy investment's going to be here. It is not going to be a blimp, although it might be a blimp, but he brought over his sweet RC plane, whatever, aircraft simulator here. Oh, let's pick something cool. We got all kinds of stuff, So I've been over here, you know, training for my flight credentials. Oh geez, we're just gonna end up crashing that one. While Zach is realizing that he's missing some hardware out here. Can't finish the steering.
Hardware, wrong shit, right shit that kind of fits, you know.
So that means, unfortunately, the truck's not getting finished tonight. Again. I mean, you could still drive it home.
I'm trying to find a nut that fits, but I can't. I don't care. I'll Loctite it and freaking super glue it on.
We're just gonna cut to tomorrow. Alrighty guys, we are back to work over here, and by we I mean Zach. And he's got more bad news. I came in, I saw Zach had the wheels on. He found a nut for the steering that was gonna work long enough just to get this thing back so we can get that truck on the rack. And right as I walk in, Zach informs me that
The axle's probably bent. I haven't told him yet.
Oh.
And when it showed up on the pallet and it was all messed up, I sent it back and he didn't listen to me, so.
So basically right now Zach's just trying to kind of align it ish, or like kind of I make it ish.
At the toe, make sure the axle's centered.
But with a bent axle, that makes that a little tougher. This is also one of the reasons I'm always scared to buy used stuff, because you never know. Unless you got some type of jig you can set this thing on to check it. You're never gonna know looking at it until you go to do stuff like this.
Spend the money, but don't listen, and then you spend the money twice.
We have seen that, guys. We have seen that. Howard, look at this freaking Harbor Freight Badlands jack, though. Oh! Oh no, he's running away from me. Zach, come back, buddy. Where are you going, Zach? Alrighty, guys. Well, Zach's got the truck together as good as it's gonna get together. Let's see if she'll roll. Hey! She sounds good. Also, guys, we are YouTubing with a live studio audience today. Say hi, guys. There you go. Yep, that's the look right there. That's a 6.0 owner if I've ever seen one. This truck is finally in here. The 6.0 is finally out of here, but it's gonna get pulled back in because obviously it's not done. We gotta show you guys some stuff. So when we shut off the camera yesterday, we pulled out the flashlights and
it got worse.
it is scary. This front end on this truck is scary.
Yeah, didn't the guys like, I was like scared to drive it down here.
Yeah.
He should have been.
Yeah. All right, Zach. Let's turn around. Coffee kicked in. Let's check the ball joints, Zach. Safety first here. Let's go. All right, let's see what we got.
It's aluminum.
That looks pretty solid. All right, all right.
Go
Up
a little bit more.
a little bit more.
Poquito más.
I'd say that's a pretty solid test. All right, guys, so the other day, me and Zach were poking around here. Amongst many issues on this truck, let's just look in here. Did you tighten them? Oh no, it just spun on the other side. All right. Oh God, dude, you can't even spin these things with that.
Yeah, it's because it's bound.
Yeah, that angle sucks. That should spin freely. But his CV angles are so bad that it's not letting it spin.
That hitch that I just hit, that's the CV axle binding up. So it's binding up.
Jeez.
Binds up. It's free.
All right, keep going a little bit more. Check out that bolt. Well, first of all, you can see that there is a bolt missing right there in the center. And then the one next to it.
The two next to it.
Or, oh yeah, both of those. So, just don't mind my finger or the flashlight. Oh, bro, these are like, I can pull these out by hand. That's bad. That is very, very, very bad. Not that like if a CV axle falls off, it's gonna be the end of the world. You're not gonna die, but it's gonna tear some stuff up.
They give you have a custom powder coated pretty lift kit. You definitely don't want something swinging around.
Yeah. Luckily, this customer does not drive his truck very often. What? Hold still. Like, there. I talk with my hands. Well, Zach, I guess the safety supervisor's here today in his safety sweatpants and slides. You got mixed match socks?
Do you care even a little bit?
You look like you've given up on yourself, man.
Look at your.
What?
Look at you.
What? You look like you slept in your truck in the parking lot.
Maybe I did.
So anyways, thankfully this customer does not drive his truck very much because I don't know how much longer it would take for the rest of those CV bolts to come out. And look at Zach, give me the flashlight back. Obviously these angles are horrendous on the CV axles there. We saw earlier that these boots, the boots are completely torn. You can see all of that axle grease just slung everywhere. I mean, it's all over the brake lines, all over the lower arms there. Yeah, it's pretty gross in here. So we're gonna get into how we're gonna fix this. But first we're gonna let Zach talk about all the bad real quick. Like why this is so horrible to stretch a 3-inch kit to a 6-inch kit. And let me put this away because he's coming back. This was sold as a 6-inch lift and he thinks the shop decided to go cheaper and buy the like 4-inch and try to make it a 6. That's what I was told. Hey Chris, isn't 4 inches just like 6 inches?
I mean, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's about the same.
It's like a 2.5 to 4 is usually a 4-inch. So a 4-inch turned all the way down gets you level, or you could go 4-inch.
Gotcha.
So if they try to make a 4 a 6, which it's really, you change the shock. That way it droops out further.
Gotcha.
Do an upper arm that allows it to drop further, you know, instead of cutting, you know, the droop stop out. Obviously you can do it, but you're breaking axles, you're tearing boots, it aligns weird, they drive funny. Look at the steering angle. I mean, that's pretty, you know, at ride height, the truck only comes up a little bit.
Right.
It doesn't, this doesn't come anywhere near okay.
That's
so
pretty
the steering inclined angle gets so bad that it doesn't work that way. You're turning and it's turning the wheels different.
Gotcha.
So like you have, like my truck does it real bad, it starts to scrub the tires. Always go the one size up, you know. Now if you're like a 6-inch kit, you don't want to do a 10, that's a huge difference.
Right.
But you always, if you're thinking between going a 4 or 6, always pick the 6.
On the same note, if you think about leveling your truck, do a 4-inch lift kit.
Yeah.
A level kit, it will level your truck, but you're
running into the same.
Yeah, you're basically doing this, but on a little bit smaller scale.
Kit with this would be a shock at a torsion key, and you're back to it being maxed out. Or you get them level and they ride like crap because there's no down travel.
Yeah. So if you want to level your truck, buy a 4-inch lift kit and just set it about as low as it goes, and then you have up and down travel, which will make your ride a lot better, or at least somewhat retain factory ride. Putting just a standard leveling kit on, cranking your torsion keys up, or however, like the cheapest way to do it is, it just ends up being crappy ride quality and it's not really worth it. This truck, however, is gonna be getting some upgrades today, and we're gonna be doing it right thanks to our friend Nick, American Duramax, who basically handled all of the parts acquisitions that you see in the bed right there. We'll let Zach go into the details. These parts, we're gonna pull off the parts that are on there. We're gonna compare them to the new parts that are in the bed of the truck and get this guy all dialed in and happy and not scared to drive his truck anymore, because he says he was very scared to drive it down to us. He drove it a couple of hours, stayed in the slow lane, 65 miles an hour, and like tried to avoid the death wobble on the truck rattling itself apart, which it looks like it was kind of already doing. And Zach's getting fueled up here on some body armor. Strawberry banana. Look at this. Zach got the safety officer working today? Dang, that is impressive, Zach. I don't know how you did it.
Go work on your truck.
It's a Bronco. It's a Bronco.
Yeah, your squeaky ass Bronco. Mine doesn't squeak.
Yours doesn't run.
Yeah.
And not even keep it in your own yard.
That steering.
Ooh. That looks good. That looks good.
Oh, this is my job.
Okay, nice, dog. Teamwork makes the dream work here, boys. There we go. This is looking better here, boys. Now we're getting some real components here of the lift kit. Look at that. Get it. Do some fireman carry.
2, 1.
Where am I supposed to put this?
All right, Zach, give us a quick rundown. What do we got sitting right here?
A 6 to 8 CST.
But that was a quick rundown. Now we're gonna opt to go a full, true 6-inch kit, but it's a 6 to 8-inch kit. Whereas again, if we wanted to lift this truck 8 inches, you'd wanna go like an 8 to 10. You don't wanna go a 6 to 8 to try and get 8 out of it. So now we're gonna go a 6 to 8. We're gonna essentially leave the rear alone because the rear's already deep.
Yeah,
like there's nothing weird back there in the rear. It's already lifted to 6 inches, and we're gonna take this 6 to 8-inch kit. We're gonna set it at 6 inches, which now isn't maxing anything out weird. Your drop cradle's great. Your axles should have a decent angle to them. And then from there, you'll have up travel and some down travel. And I did that backwards with my hand. And the truck will actually ride okay. Basically, your goal is when they build these things from the factory, obviously, if you ever look underneath your truck, your axle angles are straight, everything's straight. Like, you want to keep as close to the factory geometry as you can because, well, they kind of figured it out the first time they built them. So the closer you can get your lift kit geometry to be to factory, the better it's gonna be for the wear and tear of the truck and the ride on the truck. Now guys, after seeing kind of the nightmare that's going on in front of that truck, we gotta make sure we take care of the Bronco here. So these all these joints need to get greased pretty heavily right now. It just started to squeak last night. We're gonna get in here and grease everything. We got the Milwaukee 18-volt grease gun. This one is Zach's. I have the 12-volt. We're using some Mobile One synthetic, which was per Baja Kit's recommendation. And we're going to get up in here and grease all these lower arm fittings. Axle number 2. Garbage. It's actually probably a little wedged in there from being at that angle for a hot minute. Chris, bust out that bigger hammer. Oh. There it is. Is that how you found it? No way. Really?
Yeah.
So Zach's got most of the truck pulled apart. Yeah, look at that gap.
Come on, grab the nut.
Dude, it's all loose.
Yeah,
oh, there's no nut.
The nut's behind it, right there.
Oh, that's just sitting there?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
wow.
when I looked up. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, wow. That's bad. Again, it's a good thing the guy didn't drive this truck much. Jeez. I mean, it made yours off, Zach, a lot easier. You know, half the bolts you have to pull apart to get this old lift kit off. This is why you spend the money and you get it done right. Not only the parts right, but you got to pick the shops right too. Zach, man, we got work to do, buddy. You can't be doing arts and crafts right now.
I like arts and crafts. So.
Okay. Now Zach's working on the steering setup, so he's getting all new Kryptonite upgraded steering apparatus. Upgraded pitman arm there from Kryptonite.
It's called their Death Grip kit. So
okay.
What it is it's their forged Pittman arm that's way beefier than the stock. Wimpy, hefty. And then it's got the idler arm side is way bigger.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Bracket. Here's the weld-on support bracket. I got a weld-on.
Gotcha.
But what they do is they put bearings in here instead of a bushing, which sometimes like the Moog I think runs a bearing and stuff too. It's way smoother to turn. It's way stronger, and then you can see on this other end the encapsulated ball joint that is just in this massive billet.
Nice. If you got an IFS truck, you're gonna want to upgrade some of your just steering components here.
I've seen the Chevy mod where you...
Yeah, you don't want that. All right, so we're gonna give you guys a little comparison here. So keep in mind, this was supposedly up to a 6-inch kit. And basically the way I've always liked to figure out kits is there's gonna be like a little cross member right here that drops it down. Basically from that bolt to where the new one is what I would consider like what the lift is, right? So if you look at like these differential drop brackets right here, like that's a pretty solid 6 inches, depending on if you're telling the truth to your woman or not, you know?
Metric or standard.
Here, this is not 6 inches. So by dropping your differential more, you're basically retaining factory-ish angles on your CV axles. Well, if you're only dropping 3 to 4 inches, give or take here, but you try to get your 6 inches out of your kit, you're now having to crank stuff up and do weird stuff, which doesn't get you straight CV axle angles. So now we actually got a true 6-inch drop down here, which is gonna get us closer to getting straighter axles. And then you'll see when we go put in the cross members and all that, like everything's gonna start to look much better than it did previously with the stretched kit.
So like on your truck, it's got the swinger, those billet swingers.
Right.
So this is pretty much the same thing.
Gotcha.
So on the cradle, when I put the cradle in, it'll have a double Heim joint here and here, and it keeps it stationary.
Nice. Listen, anytime you guys see stuff getting welded up like this, where they're like trussing it, like you know it's probably something quality versus like some stamped metal.
Is, like back in the day, they used to not be this heavy wall tubing, and you'd bend them.
Yeah, that's pretty thick.
If you pick it up, I was like, I grabbed it, and I'm like, oh dang, like it's. Well, that's the bung for. That's only there, but this is probably a solid piece, and then this is probably more than likely just tubing. The older bracket styles like this, you'd hit something, or somebody would go and hit a curb, and it would kink it.
Gotcha.
Or it would bend it. So like now your steering is all messed up.
And again, if you notice, every bracket so far that's going on is give or take 6 inches. 6 inches. 6 inches. The entire drop cradle that's sitting over here, 6 inches. And again, what I like to go from is basically bolt hole to bolt hole. And that's gonna tell you pretty much your true dimension of what your lift kit is. They're claiming this is a 6 to 8.
Well, it's like...
There you go, look at that. Center to center is exactly 6 inches.
So what it is, it's just like leveling a truck. At ride height, you're neutral in the suspension travel. You can, yes, you can do a 2-inch level kit. That's where that stretch comes from. So that was probably a 4 to 6, and they cranked it all the way up to a 6. So now it's
right.
You know, not right. This is a 6 to 8. Can you get 8 out of it? Absolutely. Do you really want to?
Well, now you see why and what will happen if you will. Now granted, this seems a little more upgraded than what was previously on there, and I guess if you're going to stretch something, it's probably better to stretch something that has a full built cradle like that, where it's one solid piece. And that's what I like to look for in a lift kit, is a solid piece like this. Some kits, this is like 4 or 5 pieces that all bolt together. To me, especially if you're going bigger, you want to go with one solid drop cradle. Everything's welded, like it's engineered right, and you're not relying on bolts holding this erector set together. Now you see Zach is also marking all of his nuts here. That way you'll be able to see if they move visually, which, I mean, I don't know if you really needed it on the previous install there, because clearly you could see that they had backed off, but you could have maybe caught it a little earlier if all of the bolts and nuts were marked, and you saw that they were off of their mark a little bit, and you would know something's moving, and you should probably retorque everything. Zach, where can we get that paint? Because that stuff looked really cool.
Revlock Race Supplies.
Revlock Race Supplies. Time for the cradle to go in. We've got the strongman himself from Eastern Ohio / Southern California. He came out early. Now that the cradle's in, this gives you guys a better idea again of what's going on here. We're taking our old mounting point for the lower arms there, and we're dropping it exactly 6 inches to there. thus again, keeping factory geometry and getting a true 6-inch out of the lift kit. Now in this box here, we've got the taller spindles because we now have to make up the difference between the upper arm mount because that did not change. So the upper control arm still stays in that position, but we've now made this distance 6 inches longer to where that spindle will no longer work. We need one that is gonna be longer. So this kit comes with longer spindles, make up that difference. Steering is all finished up. Here is basically what came out of the truck. I mean, look at these little tie rod ends and tie rods. Like that is not a whole lot of girth there compared to these kryptonite ends right here and tie rods, and then this new steering setup. You guys can see that whole truss system there. Pivots off, basically the whole drop cradle right there. And this is like a giant upgrade. Zach's pretty much got everything ready. Got the lower arms on, shocks on, bump stops put in place. Basically, it's gonna get some CV axles and some spindles and some tires and wheels and fire it up. New CV axles are in with all of the bolts this time and Loctite. And Zach's gonna put all the Ugga Duggas on. And the most important part right here, marking them. Old spindle is off. New spindle coming out of the bag. Zach's going for the blowgun. He's giving it a blow job. Zach's doing it. Look at that. And just like that, driver's side spindle is on. Just to give you an idea here, with the wheels off, because it's about gonna be the only time here the wheels are gonna be off. But now you can see, we jacked it up a little bit to kind of simulate the weight of the truck sitting on the wheels. But you can see that CV axle angle versus the one that was in there prior. That is much, much better. It's not perfectly flat, but that's about as good as you're gonna get right there.
You know, the only one that's perfectly flat that I've done is your Bronco.
Those are like
perfectly flat.
Zach's gonna go to town the rest of the night here, get the brakes on, steering, finish, and then put the wheels on. Okay, another night is upon us here, and Zach's got like the last little touches going on that truck, but check this out. Check out what he brought. So we've talked about Zach's RC car addiction. He has got off-road trucks, off-road buggies, like short course race trucks, buggies, boats, and now he's got a drag truck. Check this thing out. I've never played with anything RC drag. I didn't even know like how crazy this world gets. I mean, they've got specific drag batteries for it and all kinds of crazy stuff that goes into this. So we're charging up these batteries right now. As you guys can see, last night, wheels, tires, everything pretty much finished up. He just welded on the little steering plate right now. And now we can get a decent look at those CV axle angles, which are like, so much better than it was. So to cap off the night, we're gonna push the golf cart back out, move the forklift out. Zach's already moving the 6.0 out. Zach is going to be taking this truck because first thing in the morning he's going to be getting aligned, and then we're going to be giving it back to the owner. All right, fresh battery going in. Well,
turn on.
Okay, well.
Turn on. Yeah.
Camera's on. This is where it all goes south. Oh, she's alive. Oh, we got some lights. Look at those meaty tires right there. Woo! Zach's even got some glue to put on them. Like, this is some next level stuff right here. All right, got the burnout going. Here we go. Woo! Apparently on these things you can do all kinds of stuff, right? You can play with clutches, gearing, tires, computer stuff going on, right? Or no? Is this one?
Not this class.
Okay.
But like this one, you can change the diff oil to get it to lock up or unlock.
Jeez.
If I tighten the clutch all the way down, it'll probably go faster.
Jump the light. All right, guys, we got the GPS module in the car now. Let's get some real numbers here. Whoa, 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 okay. Into the K-rail, and she's wrecked.
See, I tightened the slipper all the way, so now it's actually gonna launch.
Okay, okay.
It'll hopefully be faster.
Oh, we got it. We got the results. Here we go. Look at that.
42.
42 miles an hour. Alrighty, y'all, the big day, the big reveal for Scott. Look at this. Scott, how do those angles look?
Amazing.
A million times better?
Amazing.
So we didn't tell you, but you were missing a lot of bolts on your CV axles. Your differential had dropped about a 1/4 inch. The bolts were already working their way out. This thing
Sheared off or just working?
They were working their way out. This thing was in pretty rough shape. Man. She has come a long ways though.
Well, like I said, you get what you pay for. You got to watch out.
I think you're going to enjoy it a lot more now than what it was. You'll watch back on this video and you're going to be like, dang, I shouldn't even have been driving that thing.
And I was cruising just to get down here for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, oh, I don't blame you.
In it.
You went faster than I would have gone in this thing, that's for sure. She looks a lot better. She is fully upgraded.
Yeah, that thing's nice.
Your angles are looking a lot better. It's a true 6-inch now. Not stretched, nothing weird happening. Well, other than traffic, you'll get to drive back at like 75, 80.
That's good.
And be comfortable.
55 or 60?
No more white knuckling this bad boy.
That's right. Exactly.
Cool, man. Well, appreciate it.
Guys.
Yeah.
For everything.
Enjoy your drive back.
Time, man.
Well, I totally forgot to end this video. So I'm happy that Scott is now going to be in a safe truck, and hopefully this video is just a good wake-up call for people to keep an eye on how things are getting done and not all shops are the same, and also do a little bit of research on parts. And if not, just call our buddy Nick, American Duramax at Scoville Motorsports, and he will get you all dialed in with the right parts the first time. So with that, we're gonna wrap up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like and get a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because we have our beef jerky back in stock. Do not miss it. It goes quick. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn.